What is up? What is up? Hopefully you can hear me. Baby P. It's only a couple, but if anyone was going to be here, I'm glad it's you. Let's get rid of that. You don't need to see the thumbnail. See the real thing. This is now the thrift store studio. I'm sitting out by my pool. It is a little bit overcast today. We don't got the blistering sunshine, but welcome Baby P and whoever else is watching. I am relying somewhat on hotel Wi-Fi. I did try a little stream when I first arrived here, I think Friday or Saturday, I don't know, lost a little bit of track of time. We managed to stream for about 45 minutes before that shut out. As I have relocated, I don't have the luxuries of having high-speed access to Wi-Fi and modems, data plans, computers, all of that sort of things that made life a little bit easier in the thrift store studio up in Toronto. But would I sacrifice those comforts for these comforts? Absolutely not. I am pretty much in not necessarily the middle of nowhere, but sort of in the middle between the touristy bit and the actual Cancun. There are two Cancuns, Playa de Cancun and actually the sort of city of Cancun, and I'm somewhere in the middle, pretty much remotely isolated from all of the touristy parts, all of the sort of mainstream attractions and such forth, in sort of very much the real heart of Mexico, where the streets have no pavements and the roads have no roads, they're just dirt. So Baby P, how is it going? Who else is watching? And hopefully we are still streaming okay. As I said, I'm using hotel Wi-Fi. We're probably not going to go for too long. It is currently 90 degrees and does look like we might be getting a little drop of rain, but a week ago I did arrive. I have been now currently in Mexico for 1 week since I did leave Toronto. God riddance, or good riddance, however that goes, to Ontario, southern Ontario. Let's relocate to southern Mexico where there are no winters, but a lot of stuff got left behind. A couple of things got damaged in the process of traveling here. I did lose my laptop, unfortunately, and the good old thrift phone, which I used to do all my streaming on Reality Decoded. Finally, the microphone won't reactivate. Some of you might know I've had problems with that in the past, where it seems to deactivate itself at a whim and then decides if or not it reactivates itself despite all my troubleshooting. But in the last week that I've been here, I've managed to get myself into a brand new apartment, literally brand new. I don't think anyone else has lived in there. If they have, it was only for a couple of nights by the looks of things. Everything is pretty much new in there. And a margin of the price I was paying up in Ontario, I can pretty much spend maybe 2.5 months rent here for the price of 1 month up there, and that is all my utilities also included in my rental agreement. And there are a few drops of rain. Never thought I'd say this, but it's almost quite welcoming. We did have a little drop of rain overnight, and the smells of a rainforest after a rainstorm is absolutely sublime, I don't know. Breathtaking smells, breathtaking sights, breathtaking scenery, tranquility at the muy mucho. Look at me trying to be a little bit Spanish, but a big change in my mentality, my attitude. Stress is not completely gone, so I do have other things going on back in the UK that is requiring sort of lawyers and legal systems. The stress of sort of coming here and actually finding a place to stay is gone completely. I'm now in my first real apartment for the first time in over 10 years. For the majority of my time in Canada, I was room rental in, which was also the same down in Southern California. A couple of times I did have a condo of my own, but this is the first time in literally years I've got my own sort of place. I've got an actual bathroom that functions, the toilet flushes, the shower works, plenty of hot water, plenty of cold water. I've got air conditioning, I've got air fans, I've got 2 rooms, I've got a fridge, I've got a little sort of stove top in the kitchen. You can see it all. I did upload a video earlier. I did do a little bit of recording and do a little tiny walkabout of my immediate area. You're making me feel lonely, guys. Please give me some comments or something, even some emojis. If good old Nancy was here, our little favorite Cajun agent, wherever she may be, she would have been emojiing the shit out of the chat, I'm sure. And I'm not entirely certain if or not we are still streaming, or if you've lost me. So please, anyone, say something and make me feel as though I'm not so alone. So it's not going to be a long stream. I did sort of pre-record some stuff that I did want to put into the live stream, as you know how we do over. There you go, Maddie. Thank you, sweetheart. I was feeling a bit sort of lost and bothered then that I was talking. So much of a different sort of environment, and I'm eating my lunch and my computer is on your tape. This is the first time you see me, Baby P, since I've left Canada. In a couple of comments, you made one, and Devil made one in that sort of stream that I did sort of hastily throw together last Friday night, not hours after I arrived. He said I sound relieved, and you also mentioned something that you can notice the change in my voice. Not only that, the change in the colour of my skin. Maddie, you have no idea how dark and well, maybe you do. You're looking at me, but the camera I don't think does it justice. If I was not in public, I might even treat you to a little glimpse of a tan line. But I have soaked up the sun for a few days, and I have sort of been enjoying my own space, having my own apartment. I haven't really got much in the sense of groceries or pantry or anything. All that stuff still in Toronto, probably being enjoyed by Roger the Codger in what was once my little basement, which is probably his little masturbation booth now, more than likely, with all the free things that I left behind. But as I said, guys, I've got very little in terms of, I'm not going to say comfort. This is my comfort. I don't really need much else. But I've got a couple of slices of bread, some ham and cheese, and half a bag of chips as currently my survival items. But you don't need survival items. There's like fucking 200 coconuts that literally fall off the trees, fresh fruit falling off the trees. All sorts of wildlife, if you wanted to, you could eat. But Baby P is munching away as fast as she can, so she can get your on her keyboard. All right, Maddie, the greenery is quite lush, maybe not as lush as the greenery we used to enjoy up in Canada, where of course greenery was readily and legally available. However, the most blessed thing that could have probably happened with my move, and was the all decisive factor in the move, was Mary Jane lives a floor below me. And if you do watch that little upload I put today in its entirety, you might even get a little glimpse. It looked like an MRE. I was almost going to do a Mary Jane ready to enjoy bagging in a review. Let's get this on a tray. Unfortunately, the tray is still in Toronto, although I did pass it on to a friend that hopefully she will be able to pass it down to me. And if not, I can get my hands on some MREs and take them out into the actual rainforest to review. That might be something of the future, but I've got the world at my feet right now. I'm here. I've only been here a week. I am intending to stay for here as long as I can. The immigration status in inquiring temporary status here is nowhere near the procedures in the United States or Canada, and touch wood, in the sort of coming weeks, my father's inheritance should be finalized and certainly within my grasp. And unfortunately, something I am a little bit reluctant to do, but have to do in order to get my hands on that, is open a bank account, something I haven't had for 15 years, as well as status. So currently this is the first time in at least 8.5 years that I have some sort of legality. At the minute I do have I have been issued an immigration visa by the airport when I arrived, by the government of Mexico, and that sort of lasts as long as I want to be here, and I can't leave without it. But it will be a little bit of a transition to obtain temporary residency, what is known as a yellow card here, but should be a procedure. So there's going to be this isn't just a change in the next few weeks. There's also going to be maybe a month or so an awful lot of more changes to my life, and this really was sort of, when I was planning coming here, it was survival. Like, funds in my existence in Toronto were becoming sort of somewhat desperate. The depression was there. Many of you may be aware of that, who've followed along for a while over at Reality Decoded. But once I'm a little bit more situated and not so much starved of sunshine, I can utilize the sort of hotter parts of the day in my luscious air-conditioned room to maybe put some shit video productions together in the future. But at the moment, I'm really just sort of embracing where I am, acclimating getting sort of familiar to my surroundings, but in absolutely no rush to familiarize myself with anything other than the sunshine and this pool area. Can I do a little sort of 360 for you? This is the sort of grounds that I now live. This technically is my front yard, Maddie. This is where I come out and enjoy my daily sunshine, vitamin D and dopamine. I don't know if you can see in the background, sort of behind me over there's a sort of white building behind the palm trees. That is my building, that is where I live, and it's just a few seconds, well maybe a minute walk from my balcony down to this each and every day, and it is so peaceful and quiet. Although there are little few motorbikes and cars that are scattered around, it's not perfectly remote, but in the evenings and night times, certainly the only sounds you can really hear are the sort of chirping of the crickets, the croaking of the frogs. And due to the fact that there's not so much light pollution where I am, the stars, oh my god, I don't think I've seen a starry night like that in absolutely years, especially in the toilet that is Toronto, that is saturated with light pollution. But this, as I said, it was a little bit of a sort of move for survival. Come here where the cost of living is an awful lot cheaper, the climate is an awful lot kinder, and not just sort of room rentals. Almost everything is an awful lot cheaper here than you would find in the United States, and certainly in Canada, which is even more expensive than the States. And for around sort of $20 you can probably go out, get yourself drinks, get yourself a bite to eat, maybe grab an ice cream on the side of the street on your way home, and probably pick up a pack of smokes. A pack of smokes here costs no, not 25, $2.50, 55 pesos, so that works out around about $2.50 for 25 smokes. A big bottle of Jose Cuervo you can pick up for $10. A US in beer is almost as cheap as water to drink here, and I have done a little bit of out and about. Luckily, the owner of this complex sort of befriended me, took me out in his car a couple of times, and took me out with his sister to show me sort of a little bit of the real Cancun, and took me to a real proper taco restaurant. It wasn't really a restaurant, it was just a few sort of beer crates in tables being used for chairs, and sort of wooden sort of things turned on their sides used as tables. No air conditioning, the fans didn't work, there were dogs and pigeons sort of running around this taco stand. But oh my god, carnita tacos, not carnitas, chicharrones, sorry, deep fried pork fat, oh my god, absolutely delicious to die for. So I've seen a couple of bits and pieces of outside the complex, but at the minute I am sort of decompressing and sort of getting myself a little bit together, and trying to sort of wash away all the sorrows that were once carried on these shoulders and within the soul whilst living in the frigid cold of Toronto. If or not I ever revisit that, who knows, but who wouldn't rather be here compared to Lake Ontario. Now the beach is about 4 miles away from me, where I'm currently situated, and that is sort of where all the sort of Playa Cancun and all the sort of tourists and the fancy, very exotic resorts and hotels are, the all-inclusive, and many people that visit there would never ever probably venture into here. But there have been a few sort of backpackery, sort of hippie tourists. Seems to be an awful lot of single mums travelling with their young ones that have all somehow, one way or another, invited me to spend time with them at the beach. But I'm really just kind of enjoying my own space at the minute. You know, I've been living with roommates and crazy landlords for far too long. Just having the peace and quiet of my own room, and a little cat companion that sometimes follows me around. That's all I kind of need at the minute, and it's all about you know, the process of healing, raising one life and accepting what is now my new life. So there's plenty of adventures to come, places to see, things to do, that hopefully I will share here at TSP rather than Reality Decoded. I'm going to sort of keep Reality Decoded for what it is, and TSP TV is a little bit of a Frankenstein of a channel where I literally sort of just did anything that was sort of interest to me that may or may not be interest to some of the viewers. But hopefully you all will be somewhat interested in my relocation, a renewed life, and you know, maybe we will be starting putting some sort of pantries or survival stuff together in the immediate future. At the minute, it isn't a priority, and again, you know, part of the survival thing, it is a lot easier to live here where fruit in hydrating coconuts fall from the trees as opposed to living up in frigid Canada where it's cold for 6 months of the year. Let's see what's going on, if anyone is chatting. Great to see you cracking on with your streams. Just gonna go to Ossington. I'll catch you later. Well, enjoy your Friday in Toronto, Maddie. As I know, it's an hour ahead over there. I'm on Central Time now. Same time zone is Baby P. Sleeping better, much better, Baby P. I even think I've had a couple of nights where I've nearly 9 hours of sleep, and I sometimes do get a little siesta in the afternoon. And more than once in the last week, I've sort of got up around sort of 4:30 a.m. and watched the sun rising and listen to the sounds of the forest come to life before the traffic starts, as well as being able to not only watch the sunset from my balcony in my apartment, I can actually suntan in my apartment. Late in the day I can move the bed and situate it by the door, and I get a good couple of hours of sun without having to leave my room, and the added bonus of sitting under the air conditioning. So yes, sleep has been better. Headaches have almost gone. I don't think I've had a headache in a week, and something I can go hours without was headaches in Toronto. I don't have the sort of tightness in the chest or the palpitations. I really am kind of floppy and very, very tranquilo, as the locals say. Yeah, exactly. And happiness is sort of somewhat determined by your surrounds, and this is my sort of happy place. Palm trees, tropical sunshine, warm weather, all the wonderful wildlife, the lizards, the bats, even the creepy crawlers and the insects are amazing to just sort of watch and observe. And these stupid little things that may mean insignificant to most people that are passing by make a big difference in my day. It's sort of fascinating just to sit and watch a lizard running around a rock, or you know, in night time I come and sit down sort of here, and the bats fly around these trees and come down and touch the water of the pool. And you don't need TV, you don't need Wi-Fi, but you guys have sort of been following me along. You're sort of almost family. I know you are, Baby P. You're like my sort of cooler, bigger sister. Internet unstable. So I'm going to wrap this up, guys. Paradise does suit me. Think it will suit some of you. And Baby P, you're a neighbour now. I'm sure it's not that far for you to come here as it was to come there, because weren't you once talking about driving your RV up to Toronto just to ride a roller coaster? Don't. It's not worth the trip or the gas. Come south. Let's do thrift stock, Cancun, spring break in Cancun, guys. You're not realizing. Look, I even smile here, something you probably don't see or haven't saw much with. I mean, I'm not saying I don't smile, we do have a laugh and joke, but smiles galore. But again, think of the prospect, Baby P, of spring break in Cancun, thrift stock. Oh my word, doesn't bear thinking about. But as I said, guys, we are relying on unstable hotel Wi-Fi, so I will wrap it up. And I think it is only just you and me, Baby P, but this isn't exactly the sort of scheduled time or the regular time. Nothing for me is very scheduled or regular in the total good way, and I wouldn't have it any other way right now. The irregularity and just the fact that I can lounge around, lie around, do nothing, it is great. And more importantly, having my own space, my own serenity, and everything around me that could make me happy. And lucky enough, looks like the cloud will be somewhat will be going over in the next few minutes, which will mean that behind me, I don't know if you can see, that's my hot rock I like to lie out on and tan, and that's what I like to do sort of later in the afternoon, although I have been out in the midday sun, mad dogs and Englishmen, to get my tan on, just to feel that tropical heat and sweating all that toxins and poisons that have been built up in the last few months, well, over a year to be quite honest. Let's not talk about the last few months, it's been 16 months struggling and surviving in Toronto. Lucky for me, I had the foresight to put together a very substantial pantry that kept me fed through that duration, but it became a little bit of a stagnant, false sense of security. It was very toxic. I wasn't in a good environment, living through the last winter in a basement, no purpose, nowhere to go, no income. I went stir crazy and sort of was at the point of let's just give up. And if I don't wake up tomorrow, that won't be the worst thing that happens. Luckily, I did wake up. Mainly, lucky I managed to get through all the stress of the last few months putting this together, worrying if or not I would be even able to get through passport check-in at Toronto Pearson and even make it here. But I am here now, and a lot of the worries, and pretty much all of the worries that were in Toronto, is can I be bothered to walk 23 minutes to go and buy some food, or shall I just go and get a couple of hot dogs from the convenience store, which was one of the few sort of modernish sort of things that is in my environment. Welcome, Devil. I was about to wrap this up, buddy. Yeah, I was just saying, you and Baby P both mentioned the difference in my voice, and yeah, I do feel an absolute brand new person from what I was just 8 days ago, when I was sitting around chain smoking and drinking the whiskey that Glynis sent me, wondering if or not I would even get here, but since I've been here, all that stuff is just literally fell off pretty much when I walked out of the airport in a few days of soaking up the sun, overdosing on dopamine and vitamin D. I feel absolutely different. Get a little bit of exercise, do a little bit of swimming in the morning, go buy my coffee from the local convenience store, buy some fresh fruit from the little lady and her son who sat out there with a little cart. Fruit tastes like fruit. I even had some sort of chicken and some beef and some barbecue last weekend, and even that tasted way better than some of the food I used to serve up at an extravagant price in some of the restaurants I used to work at in Toronto. But at the minute, I'm literally living on bread, cheese and ham, maybe some potato chips, milk, and whatever I sort of choose to pick up at the local convenience store. But it's not hardship. I've got food in my belly, but more importantly, I've got serenity in the soul. So as I am gonna wrap this up, I think it's only one or two of us watching. Baby P, if you are still watching, I'm guessing you may be at work or working, lurking, or if or not you have finished for the evening. But my sort of next I do have a few more things to do before I can start situating myself here with a more important priority regarding all my legal stuff going on in UK. I've got to get a bank account, and most certainly I do need to get some phone Wi-Fi set up in my little apartment. Hopefully once that's settled, I will try to come with some regularity, and now I don't really have to worry about upsetting irrational, illogical roommates with sound issues. I might be able to start streaming a little bit later at night from the comfort of my own apartment, maybe from the balcony. I do miss the thrift store studio. It's sort of everything was there at my sort of disposal for streaming purposes. Oh, you're off today. Well, that's good. I mean, I know it is earlier in the day, people are working and stuff, and as I said, sort of, I just wanted to sort of touch base and let you know sort of how things were going. 1 week into my Mexican adventure, but once maybe a week or two it might take to do a little bit more situating, hopefully then we will get back into some shit video productions. As I said, the hotter part of the day is lovely as the heat is. It's probably a little bit nicer to go and sit in the air conditioning and put that time to some purpose, making some shit video productions. But I have lost the thrift phone. The microphone just isn't working. The last thing I could probably do is a factory reset, but I've got shitloads of files on here, a couple of shit video productions that are still in production that are yet to be completed, so I don't want to do that until I can transfer everything onto my other phone. I've also lost my computer with a lot of shit that I had saved up as well. But as you do know, this is, of course, I don't know why I'm bothered, there's only a couple of you watching, my day job. Tip jar, if anybody wants to throw a buck or two. Baby P, if you would be kind to put the link, although what's the point, no one's watching. Everything would help, because I am down to just a few pesos as it happens. I'm sort of moving, paying for apartments and rentals and stuff like that. Deposits has taken the majority of my cash, and although things are a lot closer to finalising in my sort of legal stuff in the UK, it's still going to be a few weeks before I will be able to start transferring and accessing that stuff. So everything in the moment does help, and this was again sort of part of the reason to sort of move here, that given a camera and a tripod, it doesn't matter where I am, I can record and make a little bit of a living from this. And had I sort of moved here at the start of the pandemic, probably what I've been making in the last year from YouTube, I could have lived an awful lot comfortably and an awful lot less stress-free had I made the move then. But nevertheless, we got here when we got here, and everything was meant to happen the way it was meant to happen, according to the will of the Force, which did guide me, and I had to pull on more than once to get myself through the airport. So I'm going to wrap this up at the 30 minutes mark, guys, because I do sort of also feel a little bit self-conscious out here in the open, although live here that is mostly residential more than sort of touristy residents, but there is a sort of little bollock of bread and breakfast where most of the tourists will be out doing stuff in the daytime, and anyone that does live here will probably be out to work. And as I said, it looks like the cloud may be breaking shortly, so I do need to go and get my daily dopamine, my daily vitamin D, and get topping up this tan, which probably doesn't need topping up. I'm darker than I've probably been in the days since I left Southern California, which makes me even more eternally happy. Unfortunately, I don't got an intro lined up for you this evening, so all I am going to do is pop up the thumbnail and say thanks to you guys that did tune in and watch. Hopefully, as I said, once I get my data and sort of Wi-Fi issues sorted out, we'll get back into a little bit of regularity. But between now and then, I will try and stream when I can and watch for uploads, guys. As I said, I won't be able to sort of risk putting presentations into borrowed Wi-Fi. But if you want to check out my surrounding areas and my apartments, go and look at the recent upload, and hopefully, oh my goodness, Honks. All right, let's go on a little bit longer. Welcome, Honks. Glad to see you, my former fellow Torontonian. Look, well, you're going to get an extra sort of 5 minutes, seeing as you showed up. Be rude. You're the Gusset Girl, Honks. So it is mid-afternoon here in Cancun, Mexico, and I am sort of about to get ready to get my suntan on, and then after that have a little bit of a siesta before I venture out and get a bite to eat, before watching and listening to the wildlife before falling asleep. How is, yeah, better late than never, Honks, better late than never, and indeed, this is indeed now pretty much my front yard, Honks. Not a bad background, certainly better than the little dingy basement that I sort of pimped up as much as I could to make a background for my studio. Share if you agree that this is a better background than the background we once had. And there is the pool. I do a few lengths in and a dip, have a dip to cool off when it does get into triple digits, which it does seem to do almost every day in the mid-afternoon. And as I said, I have been lucky enough to have the company of some very attractive and one very batshit crazy single mom between getting on airports or going elsewhere, and it's always nice to have bikini clad company in a swimming pool in the tropics than a batshit crazy delusional roommate pacing up and down next to garbage that have been thrown out by raccoons, wondering Kanukistan still sucks, and I'm pretty sure it's going to suck harder and greater in the coming days. I do actually think in the last day or so they put a code red on Mexico, and there's travelling restrictions because supposedly the Delta variant is rampant on the southern border, which actually isn't that too far away from me. But if it makes its way to where I am, who knows? I mean, there are quite a few sort of people that do wear masks, although mostly sort of the locals in their daily routine don't do it. It's mostly sort of travellers and sort of workers that I see. some of the stores that I have set foot into, sort of mask. So I do put a bandana. I'm a stranger in a foreign country right now. I don't exactly speak enough lingo, and I'm not about to go social justice warrior and explain to them why they shouldn't be wearing masks. It's sort of a time to sort of just put up and shut up and just sort of blend in. As I said, I'm a visitor, sort of becoming a permanent resident, so let's not upset anyone. But for most part, I'm only in and out. I just grab a few items in for the majority of the time. Spend outside here. I'm not sure really, Devil, what is going on in Canada. Hopefully Honks will be able to spread a little bit more light on the fact. I wonder if we'll get another Gusset Girl show up if I do say we are about to shut this down. But we do only got a couple watching us, and I know a bunch of you guys that do tune in tend to have lives that do take up time in the day, and many of you are sort of more night birds and late offenders rather than early afternoon. But let's just touch base. I've been here a week. Spot the difference between this tea and the Toronto tea. Surely I think you'll agree there is a bit. If I can see the difference, I'm sure it's how you can see the difference. But on that note, guys, I am going to wrap it up and say thanks for watching. Although we did try that a few minutes ago, and Honks gusseted it up and become the late offender to the proceedings. So this was Tea by the Pool Live, brought to you by Ship Video Productions. And hopefully, guys, take care, stay safe, be excellent to each other until the next one. And if you haven't, as I said, please be sure to go and check out my latest upload on TSP TV, where you will be hopefully seeing a little bit more activity, and sooner or later we will get back to action over at Reality Decoded. But till the next time, take care, as I've already said, guys, and we will see you soon. Peace out, y'all.